Hello guys, Greg back with another video. So this is the fourth one in my series of cheap but good fragrances that I've been doing. The first three that I did were Bergamot Merino by Gianfranco Fair, I did Mont Blanc Presence, and I did 360 Degrees Red by Perry Ellis. So if any of you are looking for some decent cheap buys, I'll leave a link to all three of those below and you can find out a little bit more about those fragrances. So this one here is from the house of Lalique and it's called Lalique White. Now what I'll say before we go any further is that this isn't actually intended to be a cheap fragrance. It's certainly, in terms of quality, not cheap in any way, shape or form. And the retail price of this is actually reasonably expensive for a designer fragrance. But you can find this very cheaply, and that's why I've included and done a video on this. If you look hard, you can pick it up very cheap. To give you an example, I paid less than £20 for this in the UK for 75ml. It is a tester, you can still find it. Similar pricing in the retail packaging. So it's a citrus aromatic fragrance, marketed as a men's fragrance, but I would say it's unisex. Perfumer on this one is Christine Nagel. She's been involved in loads of fragrances. The one that most of us guys will probably know best is B-Men by Thierry Mugler. For the last few years she's worked almost extensively on producing fragrances for the Joe Malone brand. So jump straight into presentation. If you don't know Lalique as a brand or what they're about, their real business and their heritage lies in high-end crystal, high-end glassware. So what you tend to get with all of their bottles is really high-quality glass bottles. If I bring this one in, this is Encre Noir, you can't really see how good quality this is, but trust me, it's a really big, sturdy, well-designed bottle, as is Lalique White. I haven't got the box, but the box is effectively just a cardboard square version of this bottle. The fonts and everything's exactly the same. So the top here, this is actually all plastic, but it's designed to have obviously a metal look. The cap is plastic. This looks like I guess a gear wheel or a cog. Metal sprayer, of course, an excellent distribution from the sprayer. Some information on the bottom, and as I said, this is a tester. So quite minimalistic, but all in all, really, really good presentation, very classy. So let's have a look and see what this one smells like. So I'm not going to verbally list all of the notes on the fragrances reviews I do anymore. I'm going to try and be a bit more concise and talk about what I get from the fragrance. But I will miss things, and there's things that I'll pick up that aren't there, etc. So I'll list the notes above, and I'll put them up there now for you. So Lalique White is a really, really interesting fragrance. It's the complete opposite, if you like, to this one that I showed you, Encre Noir, which I guess is its brother. Now, if you don't know, noir means black, and Encre Noir is a very dark fragrance. So I guess this one should have been called Lalique Blanc, but it's called Lalique White. Same difference, really. But the intention of this fragrance is actually to try and represent that Lalique crystal in fragrance form. And it's supposed to be bright, fresh, crisp, and refined, and in my opinion it achieves all of those goals. There's three defining notes in this fragrance for me, and they're probably pretty much detectable right from the start, certainly the first two. So I pick up a lot of bergamot in here, which is one of my favourite notes, a really nice bergamot note in the top. One of the two most distinctive notes in here is lemon leaf. Lemon leaf gives it a very aromatic feel. And then you get tamarind. Now tamarind's a really interesting note. Not apparent in too many fragrances, I don't think, certainly not many that I own. And tamarind has kind of an acidic, bittersweet sort of aroma to it. In terms of being aromatic, it also has Elemi in here, which is quite distinctive and lasts throughout the fragrance, and that mixes with the lemon leaf to make it a very aromatic fragrance. Now when you go into the mid, it becomes quite peppery. Now there is white pepper in here, and strange as it sounds, white pepper doesn't always smell peppery in the traditional way, not like black pepper does anyway. There's definitely a strong undercurrent of pepper running throughout the fragrance. The mid is also quite floral. There's definitely violet in there, and I pick up some white florals, though they're not actually listed in the notes, but I pick up something, perhaps orange blossom in there. Now there's a stage in the fragrance in the mid, which I would say is the defining part of this fragrance, which smells extremely like pencil shavings. Oh, I can't take credit for that discovery. It was actually Christo who reviewed this fragrance a couple of years ago, who came across that, and he absolutely nailed it. If you imagine sharpening a pencil with a pencil sharpener, and then sniffing those shavings with a mix of the lead and the wood, there's a stage of the fragrance in the mid that smells exactly like that. Now it may not sound particularly appetising or appealing or something you'd want to smell like, but it really is absolutely fantastic. A great bit of perfumery and smells wonderful. When you go into the base, it's mainly musk and cedar in there. I also pick up some ginger in the base, which is very interesting. That's not listed in the notes, but I definitely pick that up. But really the key part of this fragrance is that pencil shavings mixed with the lemon leaf, the tamarind and the bergamot. As designer summer citrus aromatic fragrances go, it's hard to think of anything as creative or different or as enjoyable as this. Really, it really does stand out. I don't think many people will dislike this. I think most people will be very, very impressed. Some will be not overwhelmed, but everyone will appreciate it for what it is. It's a great piece of work. And if you're looking for a summer citrus aromatic scent that smells different, which is very difficult for that genre of fragrance, then look no further than this. So purpose and occasion for this one, I would say it's best suited to casual, and that's how I tend to wear it. I would say it adds just a little bit of class to a casual situation, but not too much class for it to come off as, I guess, serious or formal. It's a light-hearted, friendly, approachable type of fragrance, if that makes any sense. Definitely best suited to warm weather. Comes into its own in the heat for sure. Best suited probably to daytime, but when I really enjoy wearing this fragrance is actually early evening. If you imagine like a barbecue or a garden party, you're sitting around just as it starts to cool down a bit, maybe starting to get a little bit darker, sitting outside. That's a great situation for this fragrance. It really works great. So comparison wise, it does have similarities to two fragrances that I've owned. One of the ones I mentioned earlier is Gianfranco Ferre's Bergamotto Merino. It's really just two notes that smell similar. It's the way the musk and the bergamot are blended in here. It also shares some similarities with a fragrance I recently sold, which is Acqua di Parma's Colognes Intensa. And again, it's just a couple of notes. They share a bergamot note that's very similar and also a cedar note. But all in all, this fragrance doesn't smell the same or particularly like either of those. There's just some characteristics. It's pretty unique. As I said before, in that genre that's quite difficult to achieve. Performance wise, definitely average. I mean, I don't get great performance out of many fragrances. I've said that many times before, especially citrus aromatics, but I get about 4 hours out of this, which isn't terrible, but it's definitely not a strong performer. For the first 2 hours, people will smell this on you. It leaves a decent trail. You probably get about 2 to 3 feet of projection, but people definitely won't smell you from across the room, even from first application of this. And it's one that you can be quite liberal on the sprays. It smells so fantastic that you're going to want to spray a lot of this, and it's quite difficult to overspray it, I would say. I go upwards of 5 sprays every time on this for sure. So prices and sizes, as I mentioned at the start of the video, you can pick this up very cheap. The UK retail price is 55ml for this one, which is a 75ml, and £69 for the 125ml. But having said that, you can pick it up much cheaper. I picked this up for 20 quid. The 125ml, as opposed to being £69, is £33 if you look on allbeauty.com. But you can find probably even cheaper than that if you look around eBay and different places. So just hunt around. And as I said before, I think Fragrance Net, I looked in with coupons, it was about $20 or even less for the 75ml of this, which is a steal because this is absolutely fantastic fragrance. So finally the rating. So longevity wise, as I said before, it's not fantastic, it's average, so I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. Same for projection and CRs, nothing groundbreaking, 6.5 out of 10. Actual smell, I think it's a fantastic fragrance, really high up on my list of current fragrances in my collection, and I'm giving it 9 out of 10. And my overall marks for Lalique White, taking everything into consideration, are 8 out of 10. So there you go guys, that is my review of Lalique White. Please do check it out. If you do, let me know what you think. I think it's a wonderful fragrance. Thanks so much for watching. Please do rate, comment and subscribe, and I will see you very soon with another video. Cheers.